We're very much international focused because we don't believe it's just about one country. Roman out there, Roman is our general manager for the space and the centers. He's a French, speaks French to him, English, Spanish, whatever. This space is actually just opening. The furniture only came in last week. The coffee machine's coming. Ely's talking to us. There's a lot of things. So please, make yourself at home here. We're going to build something amazing, hopefully with the support of you guys. It is a co-working space, so I have to do my plug. There's hot desks, fixed desks, private offices. Feel free to talk to us about using this as an event space for seminars, for demonstrations, even for some social meetups. I don't believe in hosting events and initiating. I believe in putting in the right location, the setup. People will come and leverage this. This is exactly what these guys did when they called us up 2 days ago. So enjoy the space. If you want to find us, please do find us on Facebook. It's under, I'm sorry we share the screen, Blink Community. And also, just one more plug, we do have a pre-opening party next Thursday, 6 to 9, just casual drinks with a bit of food. So please come if you're not too tired from your classes. Please bring any friends or partners or associates whom you think would like to come here just to see something different. We just want you to help us spread the gospel. I think we'll create something amazing. I think with you guys as our support, I think it'll be really fun and cool. So thank you guys. Any questions, please go to Roman or go to me. I'm not here all the time, but we'll have a really cool team here. Okay? Thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you. Cool. All right, very good. So just before we get started, everybody okay with the Wi-Fi? Everybody's all right? Any questions or anything? The network is Blink Roppongi, and the password is lowercase BLINK hyphen 2018. BLINK hyphen 2018. I'll leave that up for just a minute while I introduce myself. Now, let's see. Everybody on the Wi-Fi? Cool. Right on? Okay? Okay. I'm going to move ahead. So today, first things first, I want to say thank you to everybody here. I know you made a sacrifice to be here. I really appreciate you coming out here. In fact, we are putting this on YouTube. I'd like to say hello to everybody on YouTube, including my wife, my dad, and my sister and my brother. Hello. I'd like to thank everybody at Code Chrysalis, Yan and Connie. Felix is here now. All the teachers, Krista, Dylan. My partner today is Ja. My colleagues are over here. Code Chrysalis is an immersive programming school just down the street. I've been there about 8 weeks. It's so much fun. I'm really happy to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity. Also, thank you to AWS, the people at Amazon that provide this great service I'm going to talk about today. Thank you very much to Blink for letting us host our event here. This is a beautiful space. And to everyone else that has contributed to making this happen. So thank you very much, everyone. Let's see. Tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Beau Dobbin. You can find me on LinkedIn or at GitHub at Bonus. Like I said, I'm a student at Code Chrysalis. A little background about me. I was an audio engineer for many years in Atlanta, Georgia. I recorded rock music and hip-hop music. I'm also a mentor for a Coursera course on algorithms. It's very popular. It's a great course if you're interested. Check that one out. I was an English teacher for many years in Korea and in Japan. So I have lived in East Asia for about 8 years, and I'm really happy to be here today. Let's see. So what's next? I want to tell you about our objectives for today. We have a few things we'd like to do, and I want to go kind of slowly because AWS, it can be a little confusing. So I want to go slowly so that everybody gets the hang of it. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to understand the need for infrastructure as a service. It's a big word. We'll talk about what that means. We're going to look at the options for AWS. We're going to know how to go through the control panel. We are going to make a very simple Node.js app. The focus today is not so much programming, it's more about AWS. We're going to deploy our app onto AWS using a service called Elastic Beanstalk, and we're going to learn how to monitor and troubleshoot our app. Just a quick show of hands. Everybody in the room, who has used Node.js before? Who has used Node.js before? Very good, quite a few. These gentlemen have too. So we're not going to need to do too much. I just wanted to see what everybody's feeling was about that. Very good. Let's see. So a little about me again. What to expect? I am a little bit more than a noob. I used to be a noob. I started learning about AWS just a few weeks ago, and I've learned this in a few weeks. So I just wanted to share that so that other people feel inspired to learn new things, and it is possible to learn new things quickly if you have the motivation. Elastic Beanstalk is a very small subset of all of AWS, so there's a lot more to explore than what we do today. This is going to be an interactive seminar. We're going to go over the console together, like I said before. We're going to make a simple app. If you see any questions in blue, that means I'm asking you a question, so feel free to raise your hand or respond. This should be interactive. It's not only me here. If you miss something, please let us know. Let me know, let my colleague John know, and we'll try to make sure everyone is up to speed throughout. Okay, very good. Now, first thing, we need to get some whiteboards, so I'm going to pass these around to everyone. Make sure you get a whiteboard and a marker for the next part of the talk here. So, while we are passing out the whiteboard, I want to talk a little bit about motivation. Why use AWS? Why do we want to use AWS? You may have heard of the word the cloud. The cloud. So, does anyone have an idea? What does the cloud mean? What does the cloud mean? You can give me just a one-word answer. You can write a sentence. You can tell me a short paragraph. Any ideas? What does the cloud mean? Some people have been working in software for a long time, might have a better idea. Some beginners might have a small idea. Anybody have any ideas what is the cloud? Any volunteers? I'm going to give even a single word. Oh, there's one, yes. Yes, sir.
Data centers in Nevada.
I'm sorry, data centers in Nevada. Very good, yeah, very good. Any other ideas about what the cloud might be? Yep, data centers, yes, sir.
Not local, but remote.
Very good. Not local, but remote. Yep, remote has a lot to do with the cloud, of course. Any other ideas? Yes, sir.
You don't have to take care of all the ships.
That's right. You don't have to take care of all of the other ships. Exactly. So that is exactly it. Here we have a long definition from I think a Google dictionary. But when it boils down to it, the cloud is really just someone else's computer. It's not a mythical magic place. It's a computer in a room somewhere. Now, why would you want to use someone else's computer? Why do you want to use someone else's computer? Again, you can one word answer is okay, or a long answer. Yes, sir.
Because you don't want to administer these huge clusters that are connected
That's
all over the world.
Very good. You don't want to administer the huge clusters all over the world. Very good. Any other reasons why you might want to put your software on someone else's computer? Yes, sir.
Less strain on your hardware.
Less strain on your hardware. Exactly. Yes, very good. Anything else?
Scalability.
Scalability. Exactly. Yeah. Anything else? Great. Great answers. Yeah, very good. Today, there are many, many reasons you might want to put your software on someone else's computer. One, location and scaling. These are what I would like to focus on a little bit today. There are many other reasons. First, the location. So, why is the location of a server important? Now, if everybody has a whiteboard, please write a short answer. Why do you think the location of a server might be important? One word answer is okay. 2 words, sentence. Please write on your whiteboard. Why do you think location might be an important for your software? Cool. All right. please share with me, what do we have here? Let me see your whiteboards. All right, we have latency, ping, climate, latency, population, fast, design, very good. Let's see. Safe, yeah, excellent. Great reasons. Good, great reasons. Now, first, one thing I just want to point out, the speed of light is very, very fast. It goes around the world 7 times in 1 second. Electricity in a wire is also very fast, also through a fiber optic cable. The reason I'm telling you this is because to go halfway across the planet, it takes about 100 milliseconds. So if you have software in one part of the world and it needs to go to the other half of the world and back, that's 200 milliseconds. Imagine doing this 10 times or 20 times for your web page, then people are going to be waiting for seconds, all right? And everybody knows, no one wants to wait for seconds. So electricity is very fast, but the world is big, so it's important that you put your software in the right place. Next, about scaling. So how often and when do you check your email? Can you write on your board, let's say, what time of day do you first check your email? What time of day? So it might be something o'clock or something 30. Just write what time of day you generally check your email first. All right, once you've got that, please share everything. Okay, so we have some 8:30, 10 o'clock, 9 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 8:30, 9:15. All right, we have some, always, all right. So most of the people here are very sane. We have a nice sleep schedule. Very good. So the reason I ask you this is I wanted to see, when is the internet awake? So let's look here just a second. When is the internet awake? It's all right. So this is, I did not make this graphic, but this shows a clock spinning here in the center. And when a circle over here is, when the circle is on this side, that means this country is awake, generally. The size of the circle is the population, so moving down we have China, the US, Japan, Germany. So as the day goes, different countries are in the sun and different countries are not in the sun. So if you have a website on the internet, your user base is going to fluctuate. All right, so it fluctuates throughout the day at certain times. It also might fluctuate at certain times of the year. Pardon me, just a moment. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Excuse me. So, certain times of the year. What time of year do people use the internet more often? So, I think people in this room are from different parts of the world. So, why don't you write on your board again a time of year that is really popular for using the internet. Think about what people do on the internet, shopping or news. What time of year or what time of year is popular for using the internet? Oh, late autumn, very good. Q4, all right, when there's international events. Winter, December, very good. New Year's, yeah, very good indeed. So different times of year have different demand on your website. So when you have a demand on your website, you might need more servers when there's a lot of people using your website. So, for example, if you sell music, this is when Drake album comes out, for example, and then things slow down, and then Taylor Swift has a new CD. So it really depends on your demand with how many servers you want to have running. So that is another reason to put your software on someone else's computer. Cool. Very good indeed. So, infrastructure as a service. This is a big buzzword. Some people may have no idea what this means. I'm going to ask you a hard question. On your board again, write, what do you think infrastructure as a service means? It can be one word, it could be 2 or 3, it could be a sentence. What does infrastructure as a service mean? Just a one-word answer. I'll give you about 30 seconds or so. It is hard, so if you have no idea, take a guess. Let's see, maybe 10 more seconds or so. All right. infrastructure as a service. Cool. All right, still a few pens moving. All right, trying to wrap it up. Let's see, what do you have here, sir? All right, very good. Physical computer for infrastructure, yeah. Virtual, yes. Infrastructure by someone else, excellent. Offloading, very good. Need to buy your own, no need to buy your own. Utilities, dashboard, excellent. Dynamic hardware automation, very good. You just use it. Let's see, what do we have here? Yes, very good. Rental service, yes. I'm sorry, sir. Providing servers and databases. Exactly, yeah, very good, excellent. The technical definition, I'm going to let this sink in a second. Everybody, take a minute to just read this to yourself in your brain. Read it to yourself. Let's see. Ooh, wow, that is 2 sentences. That's very, very, very dense English here. So the main idea is don't worry about the hardware. Don't worry about networking. Focus on building your application and sharing it with the world. So this is where Amazon Web Services provides lots of things that will help you with exactly this. Let's look at the menu of Amazon Web Services. All right, so this is not even all of them. There's some more on their webpage down here. There's about 100 web services on AWS, and they are adding new ones all the time. So since we have some technical people in the room, please don't use a calculator, but can you tell me how many ways are there to choose 4 AWS services? Now remember, there's 100. Is there 400, 4,000, 400,000, 4 million, or 4 billion? What do you think? How many ways? You have the menu of services. Choose 4. How many ways are there? Have a guess. Write it on your board. Which number is the closest to the answer for this question? Which number? How many ways are there to choose 4 AWS services? Maybe take another 10 seconds or so. Okay, let's see. So please share. What do you have here? So we got 4 million, 4 billion, 400,000. We have 4 billion, 48. That's a great specific guess. All right, 4 billion, 400,000. Okay, very good. Now let's see who's right. It's more like 4 million. It's very close to 4 million. Now, why did I share this? Why is that important? This is because, to me, when I first started learning AWS, it was very intimidating. There's so many things you can do. Where do you start? Well, my advice is you start with one thing at a time, and you follow the instructions, and you focus on one thing. Also, one thing that happens with AWS is AWS tends to prefer, configuration over convention. These are some big technical terms. Does anyone know what configuration over convention means? Any ideas? All right, very good. It's a hard word to talk about. This means it doesn't just work. Some things just work. But with AWS, generally, you have to configure everything. So it's very important when you're working with AWS, you pay attention. Yes, sir?
So isn't it a little bit like, instead of creating an over-cluttered menu system, you have support APIs in order to configure AWS?
You do have a lot of ways to configure things, but in my experience, things that you expect to just work, sometimes there's a hidden configuration you have to look at. It provides a lot of control to the users, but you need to be very careful and know where to look to find those kind of things. Yes. Very good. Okay, let's see. So, moving right along, we're about to start our interactive session. So, everybody's got Wi-Fi. If you're just joining us, I'll write the Wi-Fi password on the board just for a moment. Blink-2018 is the Blink Roppongi network. For this, of course, you need a valid AWS account, some basic programming skills, a simple IDE, and an understanding of basic Git commands. All right, so let's see. First things, let's look at what we're going to do today in our procedure here. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to log in to the AWS console. Ready? Log into the AWS console. We have to get some tools together. So the tools are a very important step. We have to get some tools together. We are going to get quite a few tools. We have to get a CLI, which is a command line interface for AWS EB. We'll go through this together. We also need to have Git and Node.js. We need to create a simple local web app. And we are going to, actually, we're going to clone a Git repository for this. So that's the next step we're going to do. We're going to deploy our app to AWS. All right. And finally, let's see. Pardon me. We are going to monitor our application on AWS. All right, let's see. There are a few other steps in between these two I wanted to point out. The cloning, after the cloning, we work on our local machine. And then we have to prepare and run our software on our local machine. And then we are going to, we are going to prepare our repository for moving it to AWS. After that, we're going to create something called an environment. All right, we're going to create an environment. I'll talk about what that is. Then we're going to deploy and monitor. So these things will happen one at a time together. So now's the time we need to, everyone go, please go to this address, aws.amazon.com. If you haven't done this already, you might need to create a new account or sign into the console. Everything we do today is part of the free tier. If you're not on the free tier, it's very cheap. What we do today will be about 4 cents or something. So don't worry about spending a lot of money if you are beyond the free tier. Once you've logged in, please click here and to make sure that your credit card is up to date. So I'm gonna do this together with everyone here. So just a moment. Here we go, aws.amazon.com. So first things first, I want to hit this sign on to the console button. And I am already logged in. If you are logged in, you should see a screen like this. So I want to make sure everybody is at, if you want to follow along, make sure you're here. And look here, there's a region. Please write on your whiteboard what region you are in. Please write on your whiteboard what region you are in. If you're not following along, it's okay. You'll still get the hang of it. Don't worry.
I literally just changed my region.
It doesn't matter what it is. Just please write down what the region is. This will help me to make sure that everybody is connected that wants to be. Yes?
Write down the
We have, all right, let's see, what do we have? We have some US, we have Japan, US, Japan, US, Japan, very good. It's all right if you're not coding along. Does anyone need a minute to get here? Everybody, you need some more time? Cool. Very good. Okay, so let's see. What's next? Now, there are a few ways to get around AWS. One is using the GUI on their website. To me, that feels a little awkward. I prefer the command line interface. So you can choose to use the other one in the future, but for today, let's all do the command line interface together. So we have to install this tool called AWS CLI. So right now we are working on installing some tools. So I'm going to code along with this with you guys here. If you have a Linux, or I'm sorry, a Mac, Brew should work. If you have Linux, you probably have a different tool for installing packages. And if you have a Windows machine, you'll need to use pip. Is anyone struggling with this at the moment? Because we need to make sure we have EB on our machines. So make sure you can run that bottom command. I'll demonstrate what it looks like on my machine here. Just a second. So I have already installed it, but if I were installing it, it would be brew install AWS CLI. Okay, so my brew might have to update here. I did it earlier today. It might take just a second. And after this runs, I'll go ahead and do it in a second window here because I don't want to make you guys wait for me. You should be able to, oh, there we go. EB -- version. So, can everyone on your whiteboard please write down what version of EB you are running? Please write down what version of EB you are running. So, mine, for example, is 3.13. Write down the version of EB that you are running. Show it to me, please. Still installing. Take your time. Take your time. You're running Mac, so it's all good. Okay. Cool. Let's see. What do we have? Oh dear. Did you install AWS CLI?
Yes.
Using pip?
Yes.
Okay, let's see if we can sort that out. What happened? Let's see, you're using Windows?
Yes.
Let's see. We're gonna need to collaborate here to try to find EB CLI
That's
Windows.
a great book, by the way.
I'm sorry?
That's a great book.
Oh, cool. AWS EB CLI Windows. I want to make sure everybody is on board. This tool is very important. That's why I'm taking the time to do this. This will be the only hiccup throughout the whole preparation, I'm hoping. All right. So you've done.
I think I need to modify the path myself.
Okay. It might have to do with the path. There's some instructions here about the path. I want to give everybody plenty of time. Looks like here is the path instructions for Windows. All of the Mac and Linux users, everybody's got a version, everybody's running. Do you need help installing? Okay. Little help? Yes. We're on install AWS EB CLI. Yes. I'm going to scroll up for this other student here. Cool. You've got it here. Everybody still installing? Still installing? All right. While we do this, I'll just make a note here. This is what we've done so far, and I want to make sure everybody gets all of these tools running. Well, we're not going to go too far without everybody having the tools, so don't worry. So we've got EB running. We're also going to need Git. So let's get Git going. I think this one is easier. Most people probably already have Git on their machine. Cool. All right. The Linux user, you're doing all right? You got everything? Okay, cool. Okay, I'm going to check in over here.
Just a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Node version B. My version says it's Node 8. Is there?
I think that will be no problem. I think so. The node that we're doing is pretty generic and simple, so I wouldn't worry about that. All right, I'll just give another couple of seconds for one more person here. The next tool, after we get to AWS EBCLI, is Node. All right, so we need to have Node. Cool. Take your time. AWS CLI, Git, and Node. Okay. So I'm going to write down my versions just to make sure we're all on the same page. So I've got EBCLI. I'm rocking 3.13. What am I doing on Git? 2.17.1. How about Node? I'm doing 10.3.0. Cool. So please, on your board, will you write these three numbers? I just want to make sure everybody is sorted out before we move too far. Let me check that out here. Maybe another, maybe one, I'm going to give one more minute and then I'll check in. After we get the software installed, it's going to move much faster, don't worry. Yes, sir?
What was the AWS command to find out what version number?
Oh, EB, pardon me.
Oh, I see.
EB is the command.
Gotcha, thank you.
I'll make this a little bit bigger. All right. Okay. Let's see. I'd like to see everybody's versions, please. We got 3 versions. Yes, sir. Very good. Excellent. We have 3 back there. The numbers are not so important. I just want to make sure that everybody is on the same page. Yes, sir. Very good. Excellent. Okay. And one more in the back. Cool. All right, 3 versions. Excellent. Okay, so let's move right along, shall we? Next thing we want to do, pardon me, is we are going to create a simple web app. Not really. We're going to clone one. So using Git from whatever folder you like. I'm just going to use my home folder. You want to clone this repository. Here's my name, bonus, meetup, period, off-the-ground-AWS. Bonus / meetup, off-the-ground-AWS. I will type this command myself, so if you missed it, don't worry. Here it comes. Excuse me. GitHub.com BAUNUS meetup off-the-ground-AWS. Right? So far, so good. Everybody with me? Cool. Okie dokie. Next thing, let's move into that folder, of course. We want to CD into that folder. Okay. And when you run, you should notice we have quite a few files in our folder, right? All right. We'll explain a little what this is. This is what a node application looks like. Let's see, what's next? We want to open up our code editor for this folder. Some people, they use a different code editor. I prefer to use Visual Studio Code. Whatever you want to use is fine. I'm going to use VS Code, and that will bring me here. So, at this point, here we are, and we are in Visual Studio Code. This is what Visual Studio Code looks like if you've never used it before. We've got a terminal at the bottom, and I might sometimes pull up my files on the left. Sometimes I might hide them. So at this point, everyone, please let me know if you are not inside a text editor or a IDE with our project. Okay, cool. Everybody's good? All right, very good indeed. Okay, let's move on. Next thing we want to do, we want to run our new web app. So how do we run a node application? Easy. npm start. npm start. All right, so just a moment. I'm going to put these in a different order for me here. So from that folder, npm start. All right. Oh, no. That is an error. Oh, dear. What does that mean? We have an error. Anybody know why not? Why it doesn't work? Have a guess? Yes, sir?
You are in the wrong directory.
I'm sorry?
You are in the wrong directory.
The wrong directory? Maybe that's a good guess. Let's see. Let me check that one out. I am in the correct directory. LS, I'm in the right place. Yes, sir?
You forgot to install.
We forgot to install. That's exactly right. Very good. This is not a trick question. JavaScript developers are familiar with this. Whenever you run a node application, you always have to install your dependencies first. npm install to get our dependencies rolling. npm install. So what this is doing, it's reading the package.json file that's in our project. The package.json has a bunch of links to other people's code on the internet, and we pull their code into our project so that we can run it. Some machines, this is very fast. Some machines, it's a little slow. After you have installed, you should be able to now do our npm start. npm start now. This is where you want to be. Let me know if you are not here. Take your time. So npm start now is running our application on my local machine. npm start is running our application on the local machine. So I'm going to illustrate what this kind of looks like, what we've just done in local world. This is local world up here. We have created a server, a web server on my local machine. One machine, one table, one room, right here. And let's see what this web server is doing. So what we're about to do is we are going to open up a Chrome browser or whatever internet browser you like, and we're going to connect to my server. So this particular program runs on, pardon me, port 3000. So I'm typing in, just a moment, I'll make it big for everybody to see. So in your web browser, type in localhost colon 3000. Localhost colon 3000. Localhost colon 3000, and you should get something that looks a lot like this. All right. Everybody with me? Do you still need a second? Anybody having problems? A problem? Okay, I'll check it out. Yes. inside me. Okay, so you need CD.
Okay, so
So yeah.
node has their own
Yeah.
server.
We need to get into
The
that
rest is
folder.
the graphic.
All right. Do you use Visual Studio? Okay, so then we'll do code from here. I don't have Visual Studio Code, so I'll just all right. How about for my things? Is that okay? Okay, so here I'm going to open your development. AWS, speed up off the ground, that's where we're going to be. So now you are in this folder here, and I'm not so familiar with this keyboard now. So in the terminal, and this, let's see how we do that. Okay, so from here now, we should be able to do install, excuse me, and after that runs, you can do npm start, and you'll be able to get this 3000. Cool. Right, now, you guys okay? Okay. Let's see. Take your time. I want to make sure everybody's on board. Cool. You guys all got local host running okay? Very good. Do you want to go Oh, EV. EV. This. Just EV. The command is EV. That's right. Okay. And you are in. Have you cloned this? Okay. So you're serving local hosts? Yes. Cool. Yeah. This. Yes. That's correct. So now from here, in a Chrome browser, right? Cool. Very good. Oh, good. Running. Excellent. All right, we're going to proceed. Thank you for being patient. Cool. All right, next thing. Now, this is where things get really interesting. So, these are some commands I want you to keep in mind. These are the AWS commands that you should try to remember. Try to remember, there will be a quiz. The first one, EB init. EB init. So let's run EB init. All right, same folder. Now, I'm going to stop my local host, which is Control C. I'm going to stop running the local host for now. Get back to my prompt. EB init. All right, so what this does is it is preparing, this one is preparing our local project to move it to AWS. This is still, all of this is in the local world. This is all local world. EB init is adjusting our local project. The first question it asks, you can probably see better on yours. I've got to make it a little smaller so we can see. To select a region. My default is number 3. It doesn't matter. Just remember what it is. So I'm number 3, which is US West Oregon. I'm going to write that down, Oregon, on my whiteboard. I'm going to go to number 3. The next question, you need to have some credentials. You need to have some credentials. All right. Does everybody remember their? No, I'm just kidding. We haven't done this yet. We'll do this together. So everybody's here with me? Yes? Question?
No.
Did I do it? Okay. All right, so we have to get our credentials. Now, I'm going to go back to the AWS console to do this. I'm going to show you how it's done, and then we'll do it together. So we're going to go to the AWS Management Console. You're going to click on our name, go to the security credentials. We're not going to use this fancy thing they call IAM. We're not going to use that, and we'll click on access keys. We'll do it together, don't worry. So here we go. First, we need to get to AWS console. So on your web browser, just like we did before, we should be here. And we want to get our security keys. So when I click on my name, please follow along. Click on your name. Click on My Security Credentials. Click on your name, My Security Credentials. Now this page comes up. This is a warning about using what they call AIM. What we are about to do is we're going to make a key for your Amazon account. And the key that we make is a root key. So if someone steals it, they can use your Amazon account. But at the end of this lesson, you can get rid of it, so don't worry. If you make a big system, you might want to use AIM, which kind of lets you have different permission for different people. It's a little more complicated, but just for today, we're going to do just basic security credentials. So click on Continue to Security Credentials. Then we are at this menu. I want to click on Access Keys. My list is very long. I've practiced this a few times and it deleted a lot of keys. But what we're going to do is make a new key. Make a new key. By the way, is everybody with me? Sometimes if something's wrong with your Amazon, you can't get to this screen. Everybody's here? Yes? Yes?
So I find my security is
Okay. Your name. Click on your name. My security credentials. Oh, it's okay. Cool. That's where you want to be. Do you have? You can resolve this quickly by updating your credit card.
I did.
You did? And you still get this.
They said it takes up to 24 hours.
Let's give it a few minutes. This happened yesterday. And
Log out, log back.
can you log out and log back in? Oh, let's try that. If it doesn't work, you can use my key.
And just follow.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do a little trickery to share my key in just a minute. But for everyone who is at this screen, you want to create a new access key. You want to, you have a choice. You can download the key, or you can just show the key. I trust you guys. By the way, I'm gonna delete the key later anyway. This is my Amazon access key. It's okay. It's only 10. You have 10 minutes now. To wreck my life. So these are the keys that go into that question that I just asked. Any luck there? No. Okay. So I'm about to do some trickery to help this gentleman here. These are the keys you want to put in. So you don't have to follow along. I'm going to move really quickly here. Okay. So if you have trouble with your keys, you may use mine. Here is the URL. Please don't do this unless you need to.
Or in production.
It's going to cost me 4 pennies for every person that does this. I don't know. So,
Up to
yeah.
that risk.
All right, have you got the Google link working there? Okay, I'm gonna go out of here. Okay. All right. So this is what I hope everyone has done, taken those keys and put them here. Be very conscious, there are some spaces in them. So don't get this extra space on this little space here to the right. Be very careful not to copy that if you're copying and pasting. All right, let's see. All righty. Cool. And then it's asking us, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Does that key work, by the way? Yes. Yes? Excellent. Okay. So this is asking us the name of our application. Remember, we're still in local world. Name of the application, default is okay. It appears that you are using Node.js. Is this correct? Yes. Amazon is smart. It looked at our code and it knows what kind of a program we're running. So we want to say yes. This is a question. We are using Elastic Beanstalk. It has a new service called Code Commit. This is similar to Git. It's a way to keep track of code revisions. Please look into it if you're interested. Today, we do not want to use this, so we're going to say no. All right. This next question, do you want to set up SSH for your instances? Yes, you're welcome to. This is a way you can log in to your Amazon machine as if you were sitting at your Amazon machine. We don't need to use this today, but feel free to do it in the future. So I'm going to say no. All right, so what we have just done, we have done EB init. We are still in local world. We have prepared our project to be ready to go to AWS, but it's all local. I want to show you what happened in this file here. So back to my code editor. Okay, so if I do an ls here, you'll see we have this folder called .elasticbeanstalk. This is what we just made. We made this .elasticbeanstalk folder. And what's inside that? Let's look and see what's inside that. There's one configuration. So that one command here, all it did was this. It made this file. It changed a few other things, but that's the big thing that it did. So let's move right along. Okay, next thing. What we want to do is run EB create. This is another big command. So there will be a test. EB create. The hyphens are important, and the name of the environment. So off the ground env. I will type this again, so if you don't remember it, it's okay. You can just follow me. Going back to my terminal, EB create sample off the ground env. Okay. Now here we go. This command takes some time. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. You should not have this problem. I'm going to change mine to env2. Don't worry, you can still use env, no problem. This is because I've done this already. I apologize for that mistake. So now we are working into AWS world. So what is happening? By the way, everybody has this is running. Yes? Anybody not happening yet? So this is creating what's called an environment. So AWS creates what they call an environment. Okay? Just like before, we had a client and a server, our Chrome browser and our Node server. We're going to have, we'll be using a client here also. a web client, and the server is what Amazon calls EC2. So EC2 is a particular Amazon Web Services service that acts a lot like our server. It's just a computer that runs our program, and it has only the program code. It has only the program code, not the source code, nothing special. So this is a Amazon version of what we already have. But we want to use the benefits of AWS. Now, what does AWS give us? It gives us a cool thing called a load balancer. A load balancer. So at the front of our environment, we have a load balancer, and that is what our client communicates with, the load balancer. Now, what does a load balancer do? A load balancer is listening for these clients to request the web page, and it chooses which server to connect it to. In this particular picture, there's only one, so that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So what this is doing also, it uses an auto-scaling group. So behind the scenes, in secret, Amazon has a system where it automatically scales. If you have a lot of traffic, it makes more EC2 instances. When the traffic goes down, you have fewer. And the load balancer connects the client to the correct machine so that everything is balanced and everyone runs quickly. There is a few other things going on. There's, most importantly, what Amazon calls S3. S3. Now, S3 is a database or storage system. You can use it for lots of things. You can use it to store pictures. You can use it to store pretty much any file you want. In this particular environment, what it is used for is it holds the source code for our project, and it also holds it also stores the previous versions of all of our code. So this is called an elastic beanstalk environment. If you're not familiar with the word elastic, it means stretch, like a rubber band. It's stretchy. And that's what this auto-scaling does. And a beanstalk is just a plant that grows into the sky. It's just a fun word for it getting into the cloud. So what this did, EB create, it created the environment in the AWS world. Okay, so, by the way, before we move on, I just said a lot of things. Any questions?
I got one.
Yes.
Now you created the off the ground too, right?
Yes.
How much connection, like, can that one, is that totally separated from your first environment, or are they within the same AWS account so they can talk?
It is in the same AWS account.
But are they like separated?
Yes. Each of these environments gets a unique IP address in the AWS system. So when I'll show you, when we go into the console later, you'll see on mine there are two pictures, two environments.
Yeah.
They can communicate with each other just like any other web server.
But
yes.
I mean, normally when you have like a larger server area, you have firewalls and whatnot, and sometimes you want within the same realm, you want protected system like DMZ or something like that. So how if this is not, you do not do any segmentation while you do this?
As far as I know, and I'm not an expert on this, and if anyone in the room happens to be, these two environments are isolated in terms of resources.
Okay.
They might be physically close to each other because they're in the same region. And of course I have access to both of them. But in terms of like networking between them, I don't know with authority. Does anyone know who's had experience with AWS?
Are you asking about who can? I heard DMZ. I assume you are referring to who can access.
I mean, like for instance, you have Azure as well as another cloud service, and there you can specify very strictly that this web application are only open on this port from this direction, but not from internet. And when you create a total new environment like that, within your bubble, within your AWS bubble, are I assume that the connections between these two environments are free.
They're not connected. Is that what you mean?
No, I mean that they actually can communicate
This,
pretty much freely.
as far as I know, the load balancer is the firewall into this environment,
Yes.
and the only port that's open is 80.
Okay, so
by default.
I see. So the load balancing functionality keeps them separate.
As far as I know, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the AWS used a concept called security groups to manage
Yeah,
firewall
And
rules.
that's what I was getting for.
Yeah.
Are these within the same security groups, or do they become automatically separated by doing this?
Yeah.
That was more or less.
Yes.
But it seems they probably go separate.
I think that Amazon probably errs, like they probably default make it more protected.
Yeah.
I bet that's what they do, yeah.
So probably it becomes two separate security.
That's what I guess. Yes. Very good. Good question. Very good. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
That thing what we deploy is actually a Docker.
I'm sorry?
That what we deploying to the something like a Docker.
Docker is a container system that runs on top of an operating system.
Yes.
What we have done here is these two machines, when we use Elastic Beanstalk by default, it runs Amazon Linux as the operating system, and our software is the only thing running on top of the operating system. It's not as lightweight as a Docker container, but it is pretty lightweight. I would say it's more like a virtual machine, but I don't know how they do it under the hood.
What is the thing what we are deploying? I mean, you said it's something made by Node.js.
Yes. Yes, we're going to get there. That's coming up. Yes, yes. So far, what we have done, we got our local system, we initiated it, or initialized it, and we created our environment. The next thing we want to do is we want to do an EB open. EB open. All right, so let's do EB open back in our browser. No, here we are. EB open. Okay, very good. So, you are now looking at, if you look at your URL, this URL is the URL that belongs to the environment that you just created. You don't have to remember it. You can go to the console and get it later. But this IP address, or this URL, will take you to this machine. What you see here is not our code. This is what that -- sample code was. -- sample code. So now what we want to do is we want to put our code onto AWS. How are we going to do that? So let's see. Next thing we want to do, we want to run EB deploy. EB deploy. Okay? EB deploy. All right, so this is an opportunity now to talk a little about what that gentleman in the back asked. What this is doing, whenever you deploy to your AWS environment, the first thing it does is it makes an archive of the current system. And it saves it so that you can always go back to a previous version. The next thing it does is it makes a zip file of your code. It makes a zip file of your code, and it puts it in your S3 your S3 storage. This might take a while. Our application is very small, so it generally runs a little bit faster. And now, since we just put new source code here, again, it's putting it onto our other computers that are actually the servers in our system, so that when we open again, we hope that we see our code on the IP address that we just got. Yes?
I'm actually getting an error.
An error, let's see.
Invalid.
Okay. Can you type EB in the status, please? Okay. Let's see this before. Let's see. In fact, this is a good opportunity. We'll do this together. This gentleman here is having a little bit of a surprise. So what I'd like to do is, let's see if we can troubleshoot this together. We go to, again, our AWS console. We go to our elastic beanstalks here. Now, you can see these are our environments.
Where do you go for Elastic Beanstalk?
Elastic Beanstalk is under, it should be under services, right around there. Yeah, it should be
Type and it will.
Oh.
Elastic Beanstalk. Now, we've got our, this is my old one, so ignore that one, but this is what we're doing together here. You can see that it's red. If I can click here and I'll get a little bit more information about what's going on. So it says it's degraded. So we're going to deal with this. So we have now deployed our application. In fact, we deployed a new version, and the new application was deployed, and the environment update was complete. So I think what we're about to do is probably going to help you out, sir. So just bear with me a moment. The next thing I want to do, since we've deployed, so first I just want to make sure everyone has finished this deploy command. Yep. All right, let's do EB open once again. Okay, now we have a 502. Does everyone have a 502 error? Yes? All right, this is the challenge for the hackers in the room. I want to see, in 2 minutes, if anyone can figure out what's going on here. Can you figure out what the problem is with this? What happened? How do we fix it? Any ideas? Take 2 minutes to think about it. Even if you don't have a machine, you can just guess what might be going wrong. Take about 2 minutes, please. You might want to, if you're thinking about how to fix it, you might want to look around, like on the internet, any ideas. I just want to see if anyone is like a master of troubleshooting. Any progress with that, Brett?
Oh, no.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe 1 more minute. I know it usually takes more than 2 minutes to hack at something like this. All right. Okay. Let's see. Any ideas? Any ideas? What's going on?
Domain name issue.
A domain issue. Good thinking. Any other ideas? Yes.
Web server setting.
Oh, a web server setting is wrong. Yeah, that's a good idea. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I think it's somehow the port setting is.
Okay, a port issue. Okay, very good. So we have a domain name. We have a web server setting, a port. Fairies or pixies. It could be. They're all over.
Host headers.
I'm sorry.
Maybe host headers.
Okay, yeah, it could be a lot of things. So I made this mistake many times when I was learning how to do this, And the way I got out of it was with a Google search. Let's see, where's my, pardon me. So let's go back here to our, so what we need to do is we need to Google this phrase, elastic beanstalk node deploy. Elastic beanstalk node deploy. All right, elastic beanstalk node deploy. Let's pull up the first result. And our application is an Express application, which is a lightweight Node.js web server. So you want to find this link, deploying an Express application to Elastic Beanstalk. So we did a lot of these things. Where I'm going to skip over this. What I want to find is this section that shows us what we have to do. So the gentleman that said it was a server configuration, that is the exact intuition to get us to this. So we have to add a configuration file. Like I said before, configuration over convention. For me, it's natural. AWS knows that we have a node application, but it doesn't automatically put this. This is a little setting that says when you finish updating your source code, you have to run this command.
Oh my god. I used Node.
Oh, okay.
That's why it didn't work.
Okay, right on. So what we have to do is we have to make this file, and the file is going to have this inside of it. So I'm gonna do this myself. You're welcome to. You should follow along. So I'm just gonna copy this file name here. Copy the file name. Here we are. I'm going to code that file. So now, if you can see, I'm working on the file that needs to be in this place. Okay. I'll go back to the text itself. Copy that text. Put that text into this configuration. Save that. Okay. Once we've saved that, that's all we have to do. So I'm going to run, just to double check, I'm going to run an ls to make sure I have that file in the right place. Pardon me. Which is under EB extensions. There it is. All right, I made the file in the right place. Everything is good to go. So what do we have to do? We have to put this in our source control. This file is not in our source control. We need to put this in Git. So this step is very important. So I'm just going to add everything into my Git repository, git add dot. And now my Git status is all of the files that we've made since that file. This is a small change that happened before. You're welcome to look at it, but it's not important for what we're doing now. And I also need to git commit. I'm going to make this message, and I'll just say fix configuration. All right. So I have now committed our configuration file to my Git repository. And once again, I can do an EB deploy. This is going to take the same amount of time. It's making a backup like it did before. It's uploading. If you'd like to follow along, we can also look at our, let's see, our console. Okay, that's the one. So if I go back to my Elastic Beanstalk, this is the one that we're focusing on here. I'm going to click on it here. Now you can see it is updating my environment. So you may choose to use the GUI on the website. You're welcome to. I prefer the command line tool. But if you use the GUI, you have to zip your code by yourself, and you have to upload it and click a bunch of buttons. If you like doing that, feel free. I much prefer the command line. It does everything automatically. So while we wait, again, we're putting our source code here. It's going to put it on our EC2 servers. and it's going to run that npm start command. Let's check back to where we were. Still deploying. Okay. All right, just a minute. And anybody struggling, have any problem or question at the moment? Yes, I'll check that. Yes, sir. Oh, we have to make a file. So that's correct. So if I go back to your code, right? This is the meetup. Okay. So what I'm going to do, is it in Chrome? Is that where we are? No. How do we get back to that? Oh, okay. Good. Okay. So what I'm going to do is create those three names and the name of the file. Okay. One more. Do you have time? These gentlemen are trying to make that configuration file. Okay. All right. Now, once we have deployed, has everybody reached this point? Anybody still waiting on Amazon? Cool. Now, if everything goes well, EB open. It's going to open up a browser, and this is our code on the AWS domain name. So we did initialize, create, open. We've also done deploy. Cool. Did everybody have this? Anyone still have a 502? Right on. So that's most of everything that we're going to do here. I do want to wrap up a little bit. So let's see, where are we at? A couple of things I want you to make sure you know about. We can use this command, EB status. This is a very useful command. If you're in your console here, EB status. This tells us a lot of things about our environment. It tells us the region, which is very important. The application name, the environment. I rarely look at most of these, but the important ones that I'd like to see is the status and the health and the region. If you ever go to AWS console, for example, like this, let's see, where were we? So if I go to my Elastic Beanstalk here, I see my two environments. If I accidentally change the region, I don't see anything. I've struggled with this for a long time. I was like, I know I made an Elastic Beanstalk application. It's on the internet. Where is it? That's where you need to make sure you have to look at your region. Mine is US West 2. And you have to change the region to match. And I just remember US West 2. Click here, and this is where I see my Elastic Beanstalk up here. All right? This is the one that we are working on now. It's healthy. There's a lot of tools here for monitoring. If you want to see, how much traffic you're getting, the latency, the number of requests, lots of cool features. Now, I recommend the GUI for this, the web page, but I use the command line for the commands. All right, let's see. That's almost it. There's one more thing I'd like to share, which is this command, EB terminate. Now, don't run this unless you want to. Let me explain what it does. So right now, on your Amazon account, you have this environment running. This machine costs 1 cent an hour. This machine costs 1 cent an hour, something like that. All of these cost some money. Until you type EB terminate, this is going to cost you money. So, make a conscious decision. Do you want to stop your instance? or not. I'm going to stop mine because I do not want to keep spending money there. So EB terminate. When you terminate, it asks you to type the name. It's a safe. It's a protection so you don't do it by accident. So you type the name again, and now it's terminating. If we look at our management console now, and I go back to my Elastic Beanstalk, and I go to off the ground 2, it's terminating. And if I view the events, you can see what's happening here. Same thing that's happening in the console. All right, very good indeed. Another trick you should know, if you do happen to have your security credentials shared by accident or on purpose, we just come back to the same screen and hit delete. And now every person who got my password before can no longer use it. Okay, very good. So just a couple of things. Now that's the end of the tech stuff. I want to come back down to earth for a minute. This I saw in the news the other day. Gave me a big impression. Made a big impression on me, pardon me. These are some numbers of the number of employees at a couple of big tech companies. Alphabet Inc., which is Google and other companies. Apple, Facebook.
Facebook used to be higher.
It's higher?
It used to be.
Oh, it used to be higher, okay. I'm curious, how many employees do you think Amazon has? Take a guess and write it down on your board. I want to see, how many do you think Amazon has?
One. That's it. He knows everything.
Take a guess. Just a minute. Just quick guess. Ten more seconds. I'll give you a clue. It has a comma. It has a comma. One of these. There's at least one comma in there. This doesn't really help, does it? Let's see. What do you guess? 62,000. Ooh, that's very specific. 1 million. Ooh, good. 150, 325. All right, very good. Cool. Very good guesses. Amazon has 500,000. It's much bigger than the other companies for a variety of reasons. These are tech companies, a lot of software engineers and tech people. Amazon also has retail stores, so that explains that a bit. What about, now, the average salary at these companies are quite high, actually. I don't know the average salary at Amazon, but I do know the median salary. Have a guess. What do you think the median salary is at Amazon? And here's the context of the similar companies. Have a guess. What do you think the median salary is at Amazon? Okay, let's see. What do you think? Cool? 150, 60, 140, 40. It's hard to see 60. Cool? Let's see. Now, 28,000 US dollars a year.
Okay.
Now, it's very low, right?
Now, you gotta count everything.
This includes retail workers, anyone who works for Amazon or a subsidiary of Amazon. Now, why is this important? I just wanted to share with you, I'm definitely not an expert in philosophy or economics or business, but the CEO of Amazon, net worth is $129 billion. That includes stock and salary, but it's really the stock that has that most of the value there. And the median salary is very low. Now, I don't want to tell you what to do. However, with this power that you have now to make web applications that scale across the world, I would just encourage you to always remember the many, many people that have helped to make that possible, and always try to take care of the people that you serve and the people that help to serve you, and to generally just be sweet. So just keep that in mind. If this raises an issue for you, Amazon has some competitors in this market. There's Heroku, there's Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure. So there's more than one way to get your software on the cloud. Amazon is very, very good. It's very cheap. However, just keep this in mind. Let's see. So that's the end of this talk. Again, if you'd like to know more about me, you can check this out. If you have any questions, comments, or elephants, you can let me know at my email address. This is a link to the slideshow itself. If you'd like to look at this in the future, this will be public and as long in the foreseeable future. Welcome to ask me anything. If I did something today and you happen to struggle when I was moving too fast, let me know. I'd love to let you know what happened. Any questions at the moment, by the way? Cool. Very good. So in that case, I'd like to say thank you again for all of you for coming. I really enjoyed speaking today, and I'm really happy that Blink let us use this place. So thank you very much. Have a lovely evening. Thank you. Feel free to hang out for a while, just a little while. Let's just hang out for a while, and we'll get a sense of how long to hang out, but there's no big hurry to leave. Thank you very much. I'll leave that up. Cool. Thank you very much. It was nice to meet you.